Alright, we start off this episode with a bit of a downer. Fernando Amaro has been tested positive, which is it's pretty annoying. He was sitting pretty cushy in the middleweight division top 5. He would have been 4-0, of course. So it's not great. It's not great. It's probably, I think this is the third. We had Zacho and Travis last year test positive. And be suspended for a year, but we didn't really care too much about them. But Amaro's actually pretty good. He's like a pretty decent addition right now to the middleweight class, so it is a bit of a blow to test positive. But we have 4 shows this episode. In the next episodes, which will be December, we have 4 shows booked up and 4 title fights. So we've finally got 4 out of the 5 title fights booked in, and I'm excited for that. But let's power on with this episode for now. Okay, here we go. First show of the episode. And we got Boring Boniek up against Fezzik. We, of course, fed Boniek to James Foster before he left the Olympics to sort of slow down Boniek's momentum. And now we're kind of doing the same thing, but with Fezzik this time. It's for both guys' first time main eventing as well. Then we got Edalberto, who should be the 4th title fight card in December, if, of course, he overcomes the challenge today to go 5-0. And Fujishima is 3-0, and he's also pretty solid. He's not bad, hard guy to beat, so it'll be an interesting one. Bill Cumming, of course, lost his debut, looking to finally win against Pierre. We also got the likes of Kuroki, who's 2-2 against Hauer. Jim Carpenter, who's 3-0, still unbeaten. We got Batista back in action, who's 2-1. I believe he lost his last fight, against Dwayne, which was a surprise. So he'll be looking to get back on winning ways, and the same for Milkovic and Cascudo, who are both 1-1. High level jiu-jitsu fighter Lopez is the favourite for this one against Sudo, who isn't really anything. He's kind of like Moore Switzer, where he's just useless pretty much. So it should be, third round finish, good rating, debut win for Lopez. Otto lost his last fight to Mac Fuller, whereas Milkovic lost his to Richard Smith. So both of these guys are pretty evenly matched too. So we'll see who can get back on winning ways, on good momentum here. Oh, it's Otto, the slight underdog. A third round submission finish. The slightly older competitor. Okay, interesting. Milkovic suffers his second loss. We got Tiso up next, who of course lost his debut. He was main eventing actually on his debut against Go Yamamoto. Both guys, I believe at the time, were 4-0, and Yamamoto slaughtered him. And now he's got another hard fight against Batista, who of course lost his last fight. He'll be looking to get back on winning ways, and he does. First round finish too, under 2 minutes, good rating for Batista to go 3-1, the 32-year-old. Very, very one-sided fight here. Jim Carpenter will be looking for the win. Even though Jim's been 3-0, he's kind of one of the quieter guys in the welterweight. He's sitting 7th, but 3-0. Kind of reminds me of Mac Fuller, who I believe is like 4-0 unbeaten, but he's sitting just inside the top 10. He's not really pushing his way up the rankings, probably to do with like his markability and stuff too. All the little factors that matter. But it's 34 seconds, all it takes for Jim to secure his 4th win in a good rated fight. So he's slowly but surely creeping up that welterweight division. Well, very similar situation to Tiso, who was on earlier in the card. Bryson Howard also came into the promotion 4-0, but he lost his debut to Amaro, and he's also not been handed a very easy fight afterwards here against Kuroki, who is 2-2, but he's pretty solid. He's had some pretty good opponents as well. He beat the likes of Mario Nakajima, who I believe has only lost to Kuroki as well, or maybe one other, but he's got a few wins under his belt too. And if he lost to Jerry's own Matthew Dean, which is nothing to be ashamed of really, and he wins today. Great rated first round finish, which puts him on his 3rd win of his career, on his 5th fight. Bud Machida's the slight favourite on this one. If Karuba loses, he'll be cut. He just came into the promotion this year too, and he'll already be getting kicked out pretty much if he loses. Let's see. Oh, he wins. He saves his job for the time being, and he hands Machida his 2nd loss and puts him on the ropes. Good rated fight. Okay. Slight underdog on this one too. He obviously really didn't want to leave, huh? 2-0 accomplished wrestler Yamashita up next against Gascon, who's 1-1 with GFC. Yamashita being the slight favourite here. Clash of the Wrestlers, and he wins. Another great rated fight too, rear naked choke. First round finish for Yamashita to go 3-0. So he's slowly climbing up the rankings here. Doing a good job. Wild Bill Cumming, who of course lost his debut to, I believe it was Elgar. Yeah, knockout punch finish. Looking for his first win in GFC. And he's against the Scotsman himself, 2-2, Abdul. I think Bill should win, yeah. Good rating, first round finish. Lots of first round finishes this card. He finally gets his first win to secure his 5th MMA fight win of his career. And he calls it Mark Cohn. Interesting, that would be a very interesting battle, you're right, Bill. First call out of the card and the episode. Okay, here we go. It might be the co-main event, but it's definitely the fight I would think all eyes would be on in terms of what's moving on for the future. If Edalberto loses, the title fight goes to Elgar. But if he wins, he's booked in against George Laurent. Whereas if Fujishima wins, he'll probably be pretty much next in line to fight whoever wins the belt. So it's kind of like a number one contender here almost. Betting lines have them dead even. Muay Thai against submission fighting. It's going to be a good one. Let's see. It's going to be such a rock, like a heartbreak for Edalberto if he loses, especially being 30. And the longer time goes on, the more realistic the rankings will start to become, so he'll have to fight people even better, if that makes sense, as time goes on. So it's going to get harder and harder for him to get back in a position like he's in right now. Oh, he wins though. He wins. Unanimous decision. Let's see what the betting line said. All three gave it 22 rounds to 1. Wow, there we go, we have it. The last title fight, which I guess is a little spoiler for you guys. Last title fight in December. 4 title shows in 1 month. 4 shows, 4 title fights. Edalberto and George Laurent makes up title fight number 4. There's probably not too much to say about this. I'll be very surprised if Boniek can hand Fezzik the first loss of his career. It's kind of weird how he's like, on the betting lines and on paper, he's like never really that far off with like a Sambo, but he never ever wins against these kind of guys. But he's never like a complete write-off, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. But let's see. Yeah, it's a 3rd round finish, knockout, good raid. Main event, which I'll take. Fezzik secures his 4th win of his career and his first main event, which I'm sure there'll be many more. There'll be many more main events with Fezzik to come. 51% commercial. So midway in between high regional, low national. Pretty decent card as well. Lots of first round finishes. We had 7 in a row? 6 in a row. Wow. Only 1 unanimous decision too. It was just a bit of a shame it had to be the co-main event, which isn't great, but 1.6% popularity. We can give let's see. Nah, the great rated fight can get submission. That makes the most sense. Fight of the night can go to who can it go to? It's kind of only between the 2 great rated fights really. Since it was a flush knockout rather than the TKO, we'll give it to Fezzik, and fight of the night can go to Kuroki. Then it's kind of evenly spread. 58,000 we take, only paying out 21,000 to the fighters. So pretty good show. 73,000 at the gate. I believe it was just under 1,000 in attendance. So good start to the episode. Alright, here we go. Next show. This one's pretty much getting carried by Kason Plummer, who's main eventing, making his debut, and Martin co-main eventing, the big name guy from Europe who's still unbeaten too. Kason Plummer comes in as a low-level national straight off the bat. He's a world caliber boxer, but he's not very good. You know, he can punch pretty hard, but he sucks at everything else. So we're going to have to try and book him very smart to get some wins out of him, at least. Or just try and use him as much as we can for name draw. Get more fans. But we also, of course, like I said, Martin, looking to stay unbeaten. We've got Norberto, Francesco Marina, who are both fighting as well on the card, both still unbeaten. Kurt Stonge and Ketchen, who both lost their debuts, looking to get their first win. Morel Sarton, who lost his debuts back trying to get his first win as well. We also got Jack Humphries, who won his debut, back in action, and the rest are all kind of scuffed records, I guess you could say. Here we go, open the show. The loser will get cut. Both of these guys 0 and 2. Blaze, the big favourite, gets the one great rated submission second round finish, which means Brian Big Bree Barnes, not even a year into being with the company, is gone, which kind of shows how aggressive we're booking this year. There's been a lot of shows. I think we had 8 shows last year, and there must be at least 15 plus this year, maybe even more. Battle of the Wrestlers up next to see if the showstopper Jack Humphries can stay unbeaten. He can. Great rated second round finish for the wrestler to go 2-0. Another fight that's actually going to be the loser will get cut, even though Josie's 3 and 2. He was 3 and 0 when he joined the promotion, so this will be his third loss in a row. Same with Petey. So let's see. Josie is the favourite, but he loses, which means Josie is gone. Petey wins, and also being the underdog, it's his first win of his whole career, never mind just in GFC. This one we don't really care about too much, as both boxers that have pretty much no ground game. Corn already came into the promotion 3 and 0 and lost his debut, but he's just lost again. Jeremy Stokes picks up also his first ever pro win, not just with GFC, and it's a decent rated second round finish. And he also responds calling out Bing Wen Park, who of course we already know is fighting in December for the title. Pretty one-sided bout. Welcher, of course, very surprisingly, won his debut, whereas to our surprise, or my surprise, Sarton actually lost his. I was expecting him to win high-level submission wrestler, but let's see. Second time of asking, he gets it done. Rear naked choke, first round finish, good rating to get back on winning ways, or back to his first win, 1-1. Try and build some momentum, as he also calls out Fezzik, saying he will kick his ass. I don't know if he will, but we love any call out's a good one, because no matter what, it'll always go nuclear if you just wait, and it never sort of loses its effect or disbands after some amount of time. So that's why it's perfect to just pile them up. Both of these guys lost on their debuts. Kurt Stonge is a slight favourite, and he wins too. Someone that I've used a lot, Kurt Stonge, especially in the old saves. He's not great, but I just have a weird soft spot for him because I've seen him in so many fights. Like I mentioned before, he was my first ever heavyweight champ in my last promotion, and he wins today. Great rated triangle submission finish to get his first win in GFC. Marazine has pretty much been gifted another win here. 5-0. Letting go 6. Yep. Another great rated fight too. First round finish. He's the huge favourite, so it's no real surprise, but he stays unbeaten for the time being. Well, it's crazy to think in under 2 years, Kai Collins, who was the first guy we signed with any real solid name value in the UK, and he's one loss away from getting cut. And I don't see how we can come over Norberto here, who's still unbeaten. But let's see. Nope. So there's the second guy of the show. This show alone, he'll be getting cut after this event. It's a first round good rated finish for Norberto to go 3-0. Right, here we go. Co-main event time. Huge favourite Martin. The 6'1" machine himself, 18 years old, for his 4th win of his career. Decent rated finish too, which isn't, it's not great considering we had so many greats before, but he gets the job done. We were expecting him to win, and he demands a fight with Rob Baines, who's fighting for the title. Okay, interesting call out. We like it. Gasper, who lost his debut, is the only guy we could really match up right at the moment to fight Kason Plummer on his debut, the low-level national British fighter from Liverpool, England. Let's see. Primarily just a boxer and nothing more. And he wins, which is good. 38 seconds, good rated fight. That's all we wanted. We just wanted him to win. I didn't care how. Because he's really not title material at all. He's going to lose, but at least he'll be able to pass all that momentum on. We build him up onto someone else who can actually run with it into the top 3, top 4 in the weight class. But yep, caps his debut with a win. We take 56% commercial, which is just in low-level national, pretty much just because of him and Martin, but mainly just Kaysen. Just over 1,000 in attendance, so 85k at the gate. But with Martin and him also winning, they'll take away quite a lot of money too, so let's see. 1.6% popularity increase. We will give submission to... yeah, okay. Yeah, we'll give it to Kurt. P.T. Barnum, since he saved his job and Josie Savak is gone, we'll give it to P.A. And Fight of the Night can go to... we'll give it to Francisco. Actually, let's see. So yeah, both of them take away 7k, round to 7.5k. So 41,000 going out to fighters, but we take 50 grand because our gate receipts are just going up and up. So pretty decent show, to be honest. Went to plan. Most of the guys that we kind of wanted to win to push on have done so, so it's happy days. Well, more bad news after going over Fernando Amaro's drug results at the start of the episode. Our only national name-valued British fighter who made his debut just there also has been done, so 1 year without him, which is a pretty big blow, honestly. We could have used him to help boost us up, but it is what it is, I guess. We actually got a pretty exciting card, actually, coming up here. Fujikawa, of course, lost his debut with GFC. He's got quite a lot of pro fights, and in his last 2 fights that he's won, he's also won Knockout of the Year on both of them. So he's pretty much favoured to beat Frank Analysis. Popik, who of course is a world caliber sambo fighter, lost his debut. Hopefully he's going to get back on winning ways. We got Matthew Bell, who's sponsored by Monster, who won his debut. He's up against Dan Halverson, which will be a pretty hard fight for him. We got Leon Dodlin, who of course mid-level national, gets paid a lot of money. He won his debut, back in action. We got this guy here. I played the Globalverse a lot, and because we don't have a featherweight or bantamweight division or anything, I've kind of expanded the lightweight division so we could bring in guys like Mazarina, Lars Bolin, and have them in the lightweight to beef it up a little bit. But Zacharias is someone I've never ever signed, and he looks really good, and he is a bantamweight 5'8", so he's 2 weight classes lower, but he can fight at lightweight, and I'm hoping it doesn't have the weight and height difference doesn't have too big of a difference on his performances, because he's very good. He doesn't have a very good chin, but apart from that, he's solid. Good power in his punches, amazing ground game. So I'm really, really excited, to be honest, to add him to our lightweight division. I just hope that 1, he can make weight every fight, and 2, it doesn't have too big of an impact on his performances, because he could be a huge name in lightweight. Really excited to have him. Tim Boyer, another pretty solid heavyweight fighter, won his debut back in action. We got Noxard and Maruseva, who of course both drew. It was our first ever draw, so I decided, you know what, I'll put them against each other again straight away. So that's exactly what I done, to see who actually is the winner before they move on any further in their career. And then we also got Walia, who's making his debut. He's a national, I believe, national caliber karate, and he's up against Sekizawa, who's a national caliber karate fighter too. Both making their debut, both against each other. Walter May, who just missed out on the welterweight title shot, he's back in action. It's been a while since we've seen him. Up against Travis Jones, who of course I believe was suspended, right? Yep, he got suspended when he lost to Jim Carpenter. He got tested positive for drugs. This is his first fight back. And then we also have Jerizo back in action as well, 3-1 against De Castro, who lost his last fight. No real surprise, the 29-year-old Jerizo gets the win, being the huge favourite. Good rated first round finish to give him his 4th win of his career. Again, no real surprises as well. It's a first round finish. Walter May, who I feel like we haven't seen him in a while, to be honest. But he gets the job done to go 4-0. Here we go, our 2 national caliber karate fighters. Probably, maybe the only 2 in the whole game, honestly. And it's just by chance they're in the same division. I actually really like Walia. Very similar to Terence Bushman, where he's got a very good stand-up game, but he actually has very good defense against wrestlers. but he's always very inconsistent as well, just like Terence Bushman usually is. So we'll see how he does here on his debut. He does win. On the third round, it took 3 rounds for the two karate guys to finally get a finish. Only a decent rating, but both of these guys will probably pick up wins anyway. So I'm not too worried, and they're both only 18 years old. As he calls out Rob Baines, which I believe is something he likes to do. He's a bit of a trash talker while here. So, very good debut. Alright, here we go. Debut. No, sorry, not debut. Rematch of the century. Not really. The betting lines have them dead even. Let's see, if they draw again, I'm going to lose my shit. Oh, it's a win this time. Oh, by cut. Oh my god. If there was no such things as draws in MMA, a cut finish is probably second worst in terms of you should always pretty much have a rematch, but I don't really want these guys to fight again. Maybe later down the line. It only gets an average rating this time, which isn't great. But I can't believe they draw the first fight and he only wins by cut the second time. Wow. You very, very rarely see a draw and you very, very, very rarely see a cut, so it's pretty funny, but it's kind of annoying. But Maruseva gets the win. As I expected, first time around he finally gets the job done. No surprises on this one. Trimboli is the huge underdog. And the Tower of Power, Tim Boyer, 31 seconds into round 2, grabs his second career win. Well, minus 740 favourite, Zacharias Gomez, 19 years old. I'm really excited to have him, to see how he matches up against the big lightweight guys. Although, I bet he loses now. I've hyped him up so much. Okay, no, he does win. Great rated finish 2 in round 2. Good start to his career. Nice, Gomez, nice. We'll be seeing a lot more of you. Big name value Leon up next, won his debut. Very, very good wrestler too. He's only a slight favourite to beat Nikkei. So let's see. He does get the job done though. Goes to decision, decent rating, stays unbeaten, 18 years old. Here we go, Matthew Monster Bell. 4-0, won his debut here. He's a slight favourite against Dan, which would honestly be a huge win for him if he beats Dan. Because even though Dan's lost twice, it's been to 2 of the best guys in the division, and he's like fairly well rounded, which is the annoying thing. He's not great at anything, but he can do everything, which is where the issue is for his opponents, and he wins here, just like I said. He gives Matthew Bell his first career loss, split decision too. What did the judges say? Okay. Good win for Dan though, very good win. Okay, here we go, a world caliber Sambo fighter. Popik, who of course lost his debut to my surprise against Arslan, who just pretty much took him all the way to decision, which was a big surprise. Let's see if he can get the job done here. He does. Oh, it gets a poor rating though, which is interesting because he's not a slow starter or low install or anything, so... Oh, I thought his first fight got a poor too, but it didn't, so that's not great. Good thing this wasn't the co-main event, but he does get a win, which is the main thing. Okay, I just said luckily it wasn't the co-main event, but I was lying, I didn't realise. For whatever reason, I got that fight and the fight with Gomez mixed up, and I thought that was the co-main. But then again, that was the fight before. I don't know what I was thinking. But we need to hope for a good fight here. Our critical rating could suffer. Frank's the slight favourite in this one, but I would rather, honestly, Fujikawa to win. But I think when I booked this, I had already booked the title fights in advance, so I was running out of fighters to finish the card and to host a main event that would give me popularity. But he wins, so that's good. That's a huge win for him too on his ratio. He's only lost to Carlin, and to beat someone like Frank's pretty good. He's not the worst guy, you know. Got some decent wins too. Only pretty much lost to the best guys, so good rating. And he calls out Fezzik again, which is interesting. So 54 commercial, just shy of national, which is nice. 93,000 at the gate, which I will take. 1.6% popularity too. We'll give submission and fight the night to Gomez. Actually, we'll give him fight and we'll give submission to Walter because he got a great. And we'll give the knockout to... we'll give it to Fujikawa. That was more impressive for him to beat Frank. Very good. Not a bad show at all. We only take 30k because Leon and Zacharis, our new man, take a lot of money. Same with the likes of Popik and Maruseva, the Russians. So we paid out 68k to the fighters, only making 30, but we're making a lot of money now, so we can afford to hold these wages, you know, and still make profit. Here we go, last fight of the episode, or last show, I should say, sorry. There isn't actually any noticeable debuts this card, to be honest. There is one or two, and they're like high level fighters in their craft, but they're not. It's not really worth mentioning, to be honest, guys. Nigel Malley, of course, back in action. We know him very well, hoping to pick up his momentum. We also got the likes of Don Norman, Don Rumble, right? Yeah, the Rumble King, 1-1. We got Mac Fuller, still unbeaten, still 4-0, but still sitting 11th in the middleweight. He's, you know, hashtag give justice, you know, give a man some credit where it's due. Pairing Venter up against Rick Stanley, trying to get his record put into some sort of shape. We got the wrestler Yamazaki as well back in action, Mark Cohen. Don't be mistaken, 4-1, but he's on a 4-fight win streak, so the fact that he's not really finishing his fights, which is why his momentum's still at 1. But if he wins this fight, I might actually give him a rematch with Mantis before Mantis retires, because looking back at their 5-round fight, it was very, very close. Mantis just about edged it, done more work on the ground, and just slightly outmatched him on the stand-up. But I think if we did it again in Mark 1, it would kind of solidify a little bit his loss, you know? Because if he wins, it's his 5th win in a row if he wins this, which is nothing to sort of shy away from. And then, of course, the big low-level Russian himself, low-level national Russian, and Nisia, back in action. World Caliber Sambo should pick up another win. Here we go, the Scotsman Zach, who lost his debut, up against the Rumble King, who wins 29 seconds knockout punch to give Don his 2nd win, get him back on winning ways, try and build some momentum. Alright, 2 debuts. We got high level wrestler against high level kickboxer, so usually this ends in favour of the wrestler, who is the huge favourite. And there's no surprise, I'm not even going to try and pronounce this guy's name, but it's, oh wait, oh my god, it's not a win, it's another draw. Oh gosh, we're going to have to run this back too, on their debut as well, just after bloody squashing the sort of the debate on the draw, our first ever draw, we get another one. So these two will probably be meeting again. Next up we got wrestler, who lost his debut against high level taekwondo. Yep, no real takedown game though, so the wrestler should be winning this if he gets him on the ground. It's going to be game over. Yeah, rear naked choke, 1st round finish, great rated fight to give Emmanuel his 1st win of his career, and he calls out Jeff Carlin. Always good, we like to see that, 4-0 Mac Fuller, favourite going into this. You know, give justice for Mac. If he wins this and goes 5-0 and still isn't in the top 10, then something's seriously wrong, and he does win. Goes to decision though. He's also similar to Mark, where he's not finishing his fight, so I guess maybe that's why he's not higher up in the rankings. Maybe if they have more momentum, it actually puts them higher than other people, dependent on the record, of course. Only gets a decent, not the best, but he does win, 5-0. Happy days for Mac, still unbeaten. Here we go, fight of the scuffed records, 32 years old against 19, so preferably the slight underdog pairing will win. Hopefully if he takes Rick to the ground, who's got a decent enough defence on the ground, and he's got the very, very popular trait of zombie, which can make it quite exciting. So we'll see how Perrin copes under the pressure of the zombie. He crumbles in 17 seconds. Okay. Knockout punch. Rick Stanley hands Venter a 3rd loss of his career and gives himself his 2nd win. This one's pretty much just a filler fight. Lavrov, of course, lost his debut up against high-level Sambo fighter Wanya here, another Russian to add to the roster. And it's a 3rd round knockout punch finish as well. Wanya gets the win on his debut, 18 years old. Slight favourite Robin here to beat Horde, who lost his debut to Edalberto, who is someone fighting for the belt in the light heavyweight class, so this is no It's not too bad of a loss, to be honest. But let's see how the two wrestlers match up. Oh, he wins. And Robin is not a bad wrestler either, to be honest, compared to what some of the fighters we have. He's really not. Only gets a decent, but that's a good win for Horde. Not a bad guy to beat for your first GFC win. Here we go. Next up, we got someone who's probably had the biggest turnaround in their career, in a sense. Nigel O'Malley fought twice last year and lost both of them. And this will be his fourth and probably final fight of the year. And if he wins it, he'll have won all four. So if he wins this fight, his record for the year will be 4-0. Probably not enough to win Fighter of the Year, just because we have title fights coming up, and the Fighter of the Year will probably go to one of those guys who won the title. But this will be huge for him if he can beat Marco on his debut and spoil it for him, the newcomer. And he does. It's a knockout first round finish. Only gets a decent, but that's 4-0 for Nigel O'Malley in the year. It's been a very, very good year for him. And speaking of ending the year on a high, if Mark wins this fight on the co-main event, this will also be his fourth win of the year. But he'll be on a 5-fight win streak rather than a 4 against Elijah, who won his debut. He is the huge favourite, Mark, and he gets the job done. Fantastic rated fight too. We'll love to see those. Very, very good stuff. Nice. I'm guessing from the betting lines. It looks like maybe Elijah took Mark down and Mark on the ground managed to beat him. But beautiful win for Mark, and ending the year on a bang. Well, let's see if the main event can be as good as the co-main. Huge favourite Anacina to stay unbeaten, go 3-0. Gets a good knockout punch finish against Cuthill to hand him his first loss and end the show and end the episode too. He also calls out Kitahara again, which we'll maybe try and book up 55 in the commercial. Just under 1,000, so we only take 78,000 this time. But we shouldn't lose as much money. We shouldn't be paying as much to the fighters this show. Can't believe we got a fantastic, nice 1.5% commercial. Yeah, Mark can take KO and fight for fantastic. And submission, yeah, Emmanuel. The only great submission. In fact, the only submission on the whole show. I can't believe we got another draw too. But anyway, guys, next episode's going to be a huge one. It's the last show of 1990. We have 4 shows. 4 shows on the episode and 5 title fights. So don't miss it, guys. I'm pumped. I can't wait to go and see how the things go. We're going to fire through those cards, fire through that episode as quick as I can, and get it to you guys